What up? This is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment. And here's my review of Sherlock Gnomes, Paramount Pictures' new animated family movie. And this review will not be filled with jump cuts, it will not be polished, scripted. I'm just gonna do this like one take, um, straightforward, right to the heart of it. And it's because not only that I have a lot of things to do today this evening, but also because I don't want to spend too much time on Sherlock Gnomes. It's pretty straightforward what I'm about to tell you. All right, so first of all, I'd like to thank Paramount for inviting me to the press screening of Sherlock Gnomes last night. That's right, I just saw it last night. It was like the final screening, but it was cool because they gave us, the attendees, and many of the kids that were there. I don't have kids of my own. uh, but they gave all of us these freebies. Let's see here. This is Juliet. Can you see it? Let me see if I. There you go. Still plastic wrapped. This is Nomeo. Nomeo and Juliet. Doo. And whoop. This is a character that shows up in the movie. I don't know if you can see it here. It's the lucky, the Chinese lucky cat statue. The one that goes like this. Meow, meow, meow. So that was cool that they gave us those freebies. So, but what about the movie, Rama? Okay, I have some notes here. And I gotta tell you, the movie overall is underwhelming. That's the word, underwhelming. And it's to be expected, man. We all know, at least I knew it was gonna be like this because there was not much hype coming into the sequel. All right, the whole cast, of course, they return, and of course it's produced by Elton John again, the great Elton John. But it's not as big a hype as the first movie was. And the first movie was Romeo and Juliet, and it was more of a musical, romantic kind of story, you know, Montague versus Capulet. So this sequel, it's an action comedy adventure, and the title itself it's not about Romeo and Juliet. It's about Sherlock Gnomes. Um, and the whole thing just so subpar, man. The quality of the story, the quality of the jokes fell flat. Um, I mean, they feel forced. It's like the jokes are written by people in a room that's like, oh my god, they're gonna find this funny, right? Huh? And they're like, and they let the audience screen the movie or through screen testing. For example, I'm imagining it here, and they're like, that's funny, right? You think it's funny, right? Hey, how come you're not laughing? That's funny. That's that's the kind of mentality or the mindset of the jokes that are in this movie. The humor is just, it's like, oh, it passes by the heads of the kids. The kids won't understand it, much less the adults. A lot of us adults that are in the screening will be like, okay, so were we supposed to laugh at that one? Uh, they're not even like trying, man. This movie is not even trying. So that is pretty disappointing as far as the humor goes. Sherlock, the character Sherlock Holmes, I'm a big fan of the character. Benedict Cumberbatch plays him on the series, or the miniseries, I should say, and then there's that Elementary, the Americanized version as well, with Johnny Lee Miller. So it's a great character. Unfortunately, the Sherlock in this movie is not likable. He is even more of a jerk than Sherlock Holmes usually is. I know Sherlock Holmes thinks he's smarter than everybody else. That's his nature. But this guy is just such a jerk, which is also kind of plays into the story because he underappreciates Watson, and at the same time Juliet underappreciates Nomeo. At least Nomeo feels that way. It's like, oh man, you're not even seeing me like you used to see me. Um, And I don't know if it's gonna work out. That whole parallel of Romeo and Juliet's romance problem and Sherlock and Watson's partnership problem. They're trying to parallel it. You know, they're like, okay, you can see why um, one problem kind of mirrors or illustrates the other, but I don't know if it's gonna land with the audiences, especially the kids. I mean, if the jokes itself already went by their heads, how are you gonna expect them to get the whole dilemma? That's not quite really even children centric dilemma if you think about it. It's more of a adult kind of romance problem, partnership problem. So that's another disappointing part. The whole thing feels like one of those sequels where the movie just is there. The movie just exists just for the hell of existing, you know. And also, Romeo and Juliet play second fiddle to Sherlock Gnomes, which is, of course, understandable because Sherlock Gnomes is the title character. But I was like, the whole time, I'm like, oh, I feel so sorry for Romeo and Juliet because they feel like, I mean, I feel like they are being dragged across along this Sherlock Gnomes journey, without probably wanting to be on it. They just have to because their families get kidnapped. In the story, the gnomes went missing, and so it's like it's Sherlock Gnomes going from one place, going from one clue to the next, going from one location to the next, and Romeo and Juliet are there just tagging along for the ride. I mean, in another universe, this could have been like Ride Along 4, but instead of Kevin Hart and Ice Cube, it's Sherlock Gnomes and the rest. That's what it feels like. I feel like maybe the third movie, whenever they're gonna make it happen, it's gonna be like, okay, it's back to Romeo and Juliet again. Let's not focus on a tangent character. I don't know. After this sequel, I kind of don't hope for another installment. Um, it's really disappointing the whole overall movie because I did kind of enjoy. There are parts about the first movie that I did enjoy, especially being a big Elton John fan. You know how they incorporated Elton John's music and songs in the first movie. The way they incorporated his songs and music in this one, in the sequel, just didn't fit right. It just didn't land right. They're like, oh, you know what? I'm still standing. That song, I'm still standing. Let's just put it here, or let's just put that one in this one and see if Tiny Dancer could fit. They're just they're hoping for you to feel like it's the whole thing fits naturally and seamlessly, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't work out. And Sherlock Gnomes, just to wrap up, feels also like a direct to home video movie that somehow made its way onto the big screen. I mean, the quality of the story, the quality of the film, the quality of the animation, the quality of the thrill. It's like I said earlier, it's very subpar. It should have just gone straight to Redbox. It should have been like one of those direct to home video sequels. So that's that. I feel like it's gonna be really. It's one of those sequels that's gonna be forgettable, easily forgettable. Nobody even is gonna even nobody's gonna even know that Sherlock Gnomes is in theaters this weekend. Unfortunately, I don't want to wish that bad for Sherlock Gnomes, but with Pacific Rim Uprising opening, man, I can't see Sherlock Gnomes even get a decent exposure out there. So we'll see how it does at the box office. Again, to conclude, it's underwhelming. It's disappointing. It could have been better. It feels just like a sequel that's a filler. At the end of the movie, I'm like, next. Let me check out the next movie, please, for the love of God. I don't want to be too harsh on it. If kids end up enjoying this movie, then that should be the ultimate goal, right? But at this point, I don't even see how kids would enjoy it because they won't get it. But who knows? All right, that's my review of Sherlock Gnomes. Share your thoughts in the comment section below and share this video with all your friends on the YouTube verse and subscribe to my channel. And if you can support me, throw me a few bucks to support this channel through patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Sign up there today and become my patrons. Let's rock this.